Most dentists aren't trained to run businesses, let alone scale them. This is the TechDental Podcast for dental leaders who want more than just tips. We give you systems, strategies, and straight answers. I'm Dr. Randeep, and each week I sit down with the operators, AI founders, entrepreneurs, and business leaders who are reshaping what's possible in dentistry. If you want a smarter, scalable, future-proof practice, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome back to the TechDental Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Randeep, and today we are exploring one of the most important conversations happening in dentistry and AI right now. Not just AI adoption, not just automation, but how leaders can scale technology responsibly without breaking their culture, their teams, or their operational clarity. To guide this conversation today, we have someone who sits right at the intersection of AI, organizational design, and leadership. Today's guest is Aleksandra Osipova, a full-time founder, patented AI innovator, and former chief AI officer. She now runs Apricity Lab, where she helps organizations implement AI in a thoughtful, sustainable, and human-centered way. Aleksandra specializes in the systems and structures that allow AI to actually succeed inside complex, high-growth environments. Aleksandra, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for introduction. We had this conversation about AI in dentistry a couple of times behind the scenes, and I'm happy to bring it here to listeners.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in for a treat. We've been organizing this for months, and it's a really important topic, very topical at the moment. So before we go anywhere, I just want to set the stage for the audience. AI is evolving incredibly fast. New tools every day, new claims, new confusion. So let's start wide. Can you outline the AI landscape for our listeners? What's real, what's hype, and where the technology is actually heading in the highly regulated field of dentistry?
AI is very real, and at the same time, there are lots of conversations that are not productive at the moment. So what's real is AI helping business to solve the problems, to solve even sustainability problems, to scale businesses, to engage people. AI is here to scale the processes that we decide to scale with AI. What's hype is like it's constant overhaul with the news. We see the release of one model and then another, and we never can catch up with the whole AI scene. It's not even a hype, it's updates that we listen to. But I guess even if we use a technology that was released a year ago or half year ago, we would be completely fine to solve what we need to solve in our businesses.
And you began as an AI engineer and innovator across multiple industries, and now you focus deeply on organizational architecture. What pulled you away from pure AI into the human and system side of scaling?
It's very interesting to see how AI can actually help by training applied mathematicians. So being applied researcher is part of my nature. And AI research is moving so fast and there are great teams. But where we see a huge gap is people don't know enough about AI. They don't know how to use this technology or how it can help them. And we still have, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2% of people who are incredibly literate in AI, but majority of people are catching up and they need some guidance. So this is the problem that I decided to solve and focus on. And that's what I'm doing these days.
And when you worked as a chief AI officer, you've seen firsthand why most AI projects fail. What patterns did you see again and again? And why do you believe mindset, clarity, and communication matter more than technology itself?
The scene is changing, and I will answer from perspective of my current work as a founder of Apricity Lab. Many companies, they treat AI as a tool to solve absolutely everything. And the reason why AI pilots fail is because there are no culture that support AI experimentation. There are no culture that support engagement. And sometimes we just throw AI to the broken processes and expect that it will do magic. And this is the main reason why we see so many failed projects. And there is a solution to it. So it's solvable.
And I like the phrase that you use, people first AI. For a large dental organization leader listening right now, what does people first AI actually mean in practice?
It means that We don't speak about replacing people with AI. This part is real, is hype that we speak. We don't need people anymore. We can hire agents and do the work. It's not productive conversation. We can enhance capacity. So, for example, you plan to solve administrative tasks, booking clients, following up, and you can enhance capacity of your current admin people and ops people so they can work better or provide better services, have more clients booked. If the business treat AI as a tool to help their team to achieve greater results, that approach is people first or human centered AI.
Yeah, I think that's such an important conversation because all this hype around AI is going to destroy jobs. I don't think it's actually helpful to actually propagating what's such a helpful and powerful technology. It tends to put people off, and it's a shame because I agree with you. AI is really a force multiplier. If it's used in the right way, it actually empowers people to do their job better, not to replace them. So I'm really grateful for you highlighting this for our listeners because I think it's vital. And can you give an example of where systems thinking turned a failing tech rollout into a success story? Anything tangible from the work that you've done?
It helps all the time. And I think that medical professionals and dentist professionals, they can relate to system thinking because before doing any operation or any treatment, you do diagnosis, you make a treatment plan, you prepare tools, you have a team that supports you, you perform the operation, and then you follow up. So this is the core of the system thinking. When you see this is the business problem that we want to solve, we need to figure out all of the processes that surrounding this. We need to find, okay, the business process seems to work, but maybe here we lose revenue and we find where exactly, or we understand that if we do more of this, we will scale business. And you analyze your processes, and then you think, okay, what's the scope of this? Do we need hire agency or hire consultant advisor? Maybe we need to hire a person in the team, and then you start implementing step by step, or like doing one-off implementation, and you follow up, you check the metrics. Okay, this works, this doesn't work. And it's rarely that AI solution will solve absolutely everything from the first go. It's work and iteration. We have a rollout, we see how it works, we receive the feedback, we adjust models, adjust processes, timing. So, for example, if we do the automation and we receive the feedback from people that it feels like they're speaking to a bot, maybe the tone of voice is off, maybe they receive too many messages, we adjust the system and do another iteration. And at some point, we see that the metrics are very stable and we go to solve another problem. So this is what I see from client to client. And another part of the system thinking is how do we engage all of the people who are currently doing the great job? How do we engage them, participate in the AI conversation? How will we give them language to speak about AI? How do we listen to what they think it's worth automating or generating with AI? Because they know the business best and we need to listen to them. And we build a system how we engage people into this work. And intersection of this both actually gives some good results. But again, it's at least give it 90 days or more because you put in a lot of work that is human related, process related, and it's totally worth it.
And that's such an apt analogy for any medical or dental professional because there's a bit of an overwhelm around the technology and people don't quite understand it. But actually, you're absolutely right. If you go back to the systems thinking, we're already taught this in medical and dental school, how to analyze a problem, how to go through a checklist of signs and symptoms, and then have a differential diagnosis. And it's all, if you follow this scientific method, I think it gets rid of a lot of the tension that's there in the medical and dental field. And I just want to move on a little bit towards now, if we discuss in particular a large dental organization, if they're preparing for an AI rollout, what signals should leadership really look for to measure alignment and readiness in the organization to adopt an AI tool? And what are the practical steps to reduce some of this cognitive chaos that teams often feel during tech adoption?
Start with your team, start with engagement. One of the programs that I have in Apricity is a work through which we engage understanding how people currently using AI in the company and how, like, what matters to them. And another thing that we need to consider at the beginning is a compliance to regulation. We need to understand where the clinic is, and if you store medical, personal, confidential data, how do we store it, how we treat it, and all of the processes around this. So this is the step number one, to start engaging people and at the same time learn the infrastructure that you need to have in place. And after that, you will already start to feel momentum. And once your core team engaged into this AI transformation journey, you can start writing AI strategy. And it scares some people because AI strategy, it's a document that we have in a folder somewhere, but not on our desk. But it's the AI strategy is a live document. It's a guidance. How we use AI, how do we use prompts, how do we anonymize data, how do we store prompts, because writing a good prompt, like the good prompt, is an intellectual property and you can replicate it again and again. And that's how we understand through this guidance where are we going and what we're doing. So it's important to understand tactics and strategy. Tactics as a short-term action plan, and strategy as like in 3 years, in 5 years, we want to reach this result. And what's important with AI, when you think about, okay, this is our North Star or dream goal, think big, because with AI, you can actually scale it and think about multiplication of revenue, maybe think about opening new services or building the automation based on your knowledge and sell it as a SaaS. So there are so many business opportunities, and it's so important to activate the whole company for this strategy. And with momentum, you start implementing one project and then another, all of the team and stakeholders, investors to start believing in AI. Start small, but within the time you will see better results.
And you touched on this a little bit. So let's move the conversation in the direction of data, because one of the biggest blind spots in the entire industry, and particularly dental industry, is data integrity, because this is where AI projects either thrive or they die. From your experience, why is data integrity the single biggest determinant of AI success?
Because AI is only good as, like, in all of types of AI, so it's generative, agentic, research and development models. It's only as good as people who implement it and people who operate it. It only as good as the models, and it only as good as the data we feed. With models, we're already doing great, and thanks to the researchers who are putting great effort into that. With people, we do the training, but with data, it's like we either will capture the biases and will carry it forward, or we will understand, okay, this probably is a gender bias or ethnical bias. This is how we solve it. This is how we modify the database. And then you provide a better solution. And you need to teach AI what good is and what bad is. And there are no other place in your historic data.
Yeah, this is something I hear a lot when speaking with dental leaders, is that they want to really implement AI tools. They understand the force multiplier effect and how effective they can be, but it's this underlying data foundation which sometimes isn't quite there. So really what you're saying is that by introducing a tool where the data infrastructure is not ready, it's just going to lead to suboptimal and unreliable results. And you touched a little bit about biases there. And I want to move us now into guardrails, GDPR, data protection, because obviously if you're introducing any kind of AI technology into an industry such as dentistry or medicine, there's lots of ethical and data protection, privacy concerns there. So can you talk a little bit about how to structure your thinking, or how an organization should structure their thinking around the privacy and guardrails, so they have the trust, their team have the trust, and ultimately patients have the trust in what's being used?
Mm-hmm. So if we think about integrity of the system, we need to understand if there is cyber attack, for example, or if there are failure of technology, are we going to expose the data of our patients or not? You need to think about security layers, how you protect sensitive data. When we speak about GDPR, it's important to understand that there are layers of data accessibility. You might store all the data, or you might need to anonymize certain parts of the data. But for example, people who are on an administrative job at the dentistry clinic, they might not need to have access to medical history of the patient. So you think about, okay, this is the layers of data protection. This is the access of the data and how we see it. And again, you will think it through, but it might happen that you will change it within the time because of the new regulation or because you will find the edge case that you didn't think about before. And then also in AI, European AI Act, we see that we need to consider if AI solution, how much of the influence AI solution has to human well-being, and if it's possible that because of AI solution, the person might receive worsening of the health or like a financial situation, then it's the highest stage, and you will need to be compliant and you will need to have documentation towards this. But if it's about booking the call, then probably you will not go into this restricted field. So I would advise to think about those are the solutions that we want to have and assess the risk level of each of them and start somewhere. Maybe start not with the most complex one, but with the one that will give the results sooner. So you have this momentum about AI. But for medical solution, you need to put a lot of this scope stage and consideration stage, and then you will protect your business basically.
I want to bring us into an area now I feel really passionate about, the ROI of well-being and clarity inside an organization, because technology, it can't really compensate for burnout or misalignment. Aleksandra, how does employee well-being directly affect technology ROI and the patient experience?
It's again a very complex question because on the surface we know that if our employees are burnout or they don't have resources provided by organization to be high performers, then we will see the lower quality of service, and it won't be a long game. So if we only hire people to do this job and we basically take all of their resources to perform the job, then we don't have this long-term strategy, and it's a lose game for employee and employees and business. So think long term. How do you need, like, what exactly do you need to provide to your employees so they want to participate, they are engaged, and provide these resources. And again, you can say this is the budget that we have now, and this is how we see it growing. And in my experience, engage your best people in a new technology, in AI transformation gives the best ROI because they feel that they're participating, they feel that they are heard, and they see that they have the space to develop themselves as professional. They have more motivation to contribute.
And you talk a lot about freeing up human creativity. How can AI empower people rather than replace them? And we touched on this at the beginning of the episode, but practically, how have you seen that happen?
Generative AI is such an interesting tool, and there is already some research that say that AI makes us less creative. And it's like I think MIT published the research about generative AI correlation to brain rot. But it's again how you use these generative AI tools. Sometimes we just want to log in, write a little prompt, and expect a great result. So we outsource our thinking, our critical thinking, questioning. If we outsource it to AI, then we are not developing our brain. We are not like we getting into the flow that in the long term again will decline the ability to have critical thinking. But there are another strategy that you can use. This is something that I do myself. I train coaches for if I use generative AI, most likely I will train a coach. If I'm writing a book and I have a chapter, I don't want chapter to be written for me, but I want to have a feedback. So this phrase might be rephrased in this different ways, or this is information you need to consider. This is how you can straighten this. And you applying AI as a tool to provide you guidance how you can improve the skills that you're already good at is the best use case for generative AI that I have seen. And I see it among engineers. So good engineer can enhance their engineering abilities. Product managers write better RDP, and they can do it faster so they can scale the amount of job that they're doing. And to summarize, think about how AI can improve you and not do work for you, like instead of you. And this is a winning strategy.
Yeah, I think that's such a vital point that AI really, it's not to replace your thinking, it's there as a co-pilot, it's there to actually help you. And I love the what you said about using a prompt to have it as a coach. So you actually learn as you go along and you don't only get the output, but you see the working of how the output was arrived at. And it's almost like it's like going to the gym. If you're not training that muscle, it atrophies. So I love that analogy. And I think it's a real powerful use case there. Let's move into your thoughtful AI framework, Aleksandra, because this is something I want our listeners to hear clearly. What is the framework and how does it help, for example, in a large dental organization if they want to scale AI sustainably?
Thank you for giving the name to the framework. I actually don't have the thoughtful framework so far. I have another one that helps to identify where the company is with AI right now. And there are 5 stages when you aware of AI but are skeptical, not using it. There is a stage when you start chatting and don't think about the outputs. There is a third stage when you think about creative outputs and maybe you train a coach, maybe you train automation. The fourth stage is where you already have solutions that do exactly what you do now. And the fifth stage, when you start thinking through AI lens and think, okay, if we have this capacity with AI tool right now and we have this professionals in the team, how can we reinvent the process? And so on the fifth stage, you start inventing the processes that are more agile or more suitable for the tools that we have now.
You're welcome to the Thoughtful AI framework, by the way.
Thank you. The name of the book that I'm writing is the name of the book is Thoughtful. So yeah, definitely.
There you go. There you go. It's meant to happen. Aleksandra, in dental organizations or any kind of large groups, often technology and people operate in silos. How do we design systems that connect them instead of separating them? Do you have any thoughts on how to connect people within an organization so they align on a specific strategy or pathway?
I believe we already spoke about how we engage people through AI. Maybe the quick win here would be to create lunch and learn or invite a professional who can speak about AI or say this is how AI been used in your domain, and have a recurrent meetings when you allow people to speak about AI and explore it and speak openly how they already using AI. There's a huge problem of shadow AI, or another name of this is bring your own AI. It's when the company don't have policy so far and they don't say this is the tools that you can use and this is how, but instead the company close their eyes and say whatever you do, just do it and we will figure it out later. Allowing people to share how they already using AI and maybe bring this up and say this is the new standard or how we solve this problem can help the engagement.
And I think collaboration is so important because even if an organization, I think, feels it's not ready to implement AI, what you're saying is, and it's true, that a lot of the employers are using AI anyway. They may be using it on their own or in their own way. And if you pool all that information together in a controlled and an ethical way, you just power up the effect of that. So I think that's a very important point there. And what's your view on agentic AI? Because the promise is that agentic AI is coming fast. So autonomous systems, intelligent orchestration. What should leaders be thinking about now to maintain ethical oversight and operational trust as AI becomes more capable over time?
I would definitely advise to think less in terms and label it. But if we're using agentic, it means we use automation, we use connection to the database, we already automate certain processes in the company. And it's not the same as build agents, because agent is like a chatbot that is capable to solve the problem that you defined for them without your direct instruction. While automation will automate exactly step by step and understanding the use cases and edge cases that you provided in this automation. What's important is right now for company, if they're just starting, write down your business processes, maybe either hire a AI advisor or bring the person who can lead this within the company and start analyzing what you already have. and find this one sweet spot where you're going to start. But I want to add that it's not helpful to think that, and especially for engagement of your workforce, it's not a helpful conversation to speak about replacement. First of all, because it's not possible to replace human, you will still need to have a supervision and decision making and the skill set. And second of all, because when you say we replace you, the person who hear it, they just don't want to contribute to the work anymore.
Yeah, I think, again, that's such a vital piece. And I really want our listeners to let that sink in, because I think it's the core of adoption. If we frame it in the right way from the beginning, then it helps in terms of scalability and adoption as it goes through the organization. It's a really important point you've highlighted there. And I want to wrap up the main discussion with more of a future looking question. What leadership traits do you think will define success in an AI driven organization?
Definitely curiosity, because that's how we can survive in uncertainty, and not only survive but thrive in uncertainty. Ask good question, see how other people solving this, create the space where people can communicate it. Another one is a system thinking, as opposite to, okay, let's just run there and hope for the best. Think about the thinking stages that we already discussed at the beginning, and I think how you, like, from the moment how you diagnose the processes to your AI strategy, to your implementation plan, to the long-term vision, incorporate all of this in the system thinking, and also lead by example. It's really important for employees' well-being and engagement to see that, okay, I'm not the only one doing the work, like we are all together doing this.
I love that. So curiosity, systems thinking, and lead by example is the three pillars. They're very important for any leader listening. And before we close, Aleksandra, I just want to shift into a lightning round. Towards the end of the podcast, I like to do a little lightning round, a couple of quick fire questions just to let people see the mindset of a founder and entrepreneur. So first of all, which one entrepreneur that you would love to shadow for a day and why?
What a question. Right now, I'm so focused on the work that I'm doing that I only want to be in the place of me in 5 months. And I want to understand how she operates so I can be her right now and do the work right now.
I love that. That's a great answer, not one that we've had before. What does intelligent leadership look like for you in the next 3 to 5 years?
Leading with vision to where you're going, and understand what maybe mission is a loud word, but it's really important to understand what do you want to bring to this world. And once you have this clarity, you will see people showing up in the right places. Lead with vision and mission, and with integrity as well.
And what's your vision for Apricity Lab? Well, where would you like it to go in the next 3 to 5 years?
It needs to scale, because right now, as a solopreneur, I deliver trainings and I write materials. But what I see in the future is that, based on the work that I'm doing, there will be several SaaS products that capture the needs that I see right now. I have been a product manager in the past. I always think about, okay, if this group of people have this problem, can I build a product upon this and deliver this quality to many customers, many clients? And I'm thinking about how to scale it to support more people, to be ready for what AI brings to us, and to enhance capacity to as many people as possible.
Fantastic. That's an amazing vision for the future. Aleksandra, this has been an outstanding conversation. Thank you for bringing such a grounded, human and system focused approach to AI adoption. I think this is something dentistry really needs at this stage. Where can people connect with you and learn more?
On LinkedIn, I post most of the links on LinkedIn and most of the articles. And I'm also writing a book that I plan to self-publish in February or early March. And the book name is Thoughtful. And again, I will post the link to this book on LinkedIn. So that's a place.
Fantastic. And to everyone listening, make sure you subscribe, follow, and share this episode. At TechDental, we explore where technology meets leadership and where AI becomes a catalyst for human connection, organizational clarity, and sustainable growth. Let's keep this conversation going. You can reach us at www.techdental.com, email info@techdental.com, or contact me directly on LinkedIn. I'm your host, Dr. Randeep, and this is the Tech Dental Podcast. We'll see you again next week. Scaling a business isn't a dream, it's a decision. This is the Tech Dental Podcast. And if you found value today, follow, share, and subscribe. This is the edge every dental leader needs.